you are represented by the Nine of Wands and the King of Cups. So for some of you, there is some water energy perhaps that may be important. It could be a Cancer, a Scorpio, a Pisces, Sun, Moon, or Rising, male or female, or just the traits of this king. And someone may be very determined, very defensive, could be dealing with a conflict from the past. There's a need to protect yourself, your assets, your reputation, your well-being, and somebody in the relationship may be fighting for their rights, fighting for their reputation, or struggling with, feeling less than, some kind of inferiority complex. So this is a period where there's something in connection to your relationship where you feel very determined. Maybe you've been through a lot with another person. You've been struggling somehow, and you're having to perhaps push through some challenging situations, and you may find yourself very defensive or dealing with somebody who's very guarded and very focused again on protecting themselves in some way. There could be something that you're anticipating that is delayed, maybe some form of support or assistance. But the Nine of Wands says that there is a victory in the cards for you after some form of struggle. Something unexpected, though, in the meantime, is going to wear on you physically because of circumstances. And you, again, probably have endured quite a bit. You've gained some wisdom in the process. You've taken some hard knocks in circumstances. And maybe you need that support to prop you up, or perhaps someone else does. So you are looking at, the progress that you've made. You're reassessing a situation, your value system, your habits, who you're getting involved with, what you've done, whatever it is that has brought you to this moment in time and where you're stuck, what this impasse is. And you are changing the way you look at a situation in order to create some change for yourself. And you have a better picture of that. You've gained the wisdom of experience, and you're grasping the lesson involved in a situation or who you're connected to. So this new outlook is making you very practical about how you handle yourself and your ambitions. And you're not allowing your emotions to run away with you. You're not making decisions based on emotions. You have those in check. And so your emotions support the decisions that you make rather than overwhelm you and work against you. So you're looking at the short term right now. You're taking things one day at a time, one step at a time. You're not trying to go too far into the future with that. Now, in some cases, perhaps it's difficult for you to make changes. You know what you need to do, and yet you continue to fall back on go-to behaviors, old patterns, old ways of thinking that block you from getting ahead. And you probably are doing this because, you don't have the emotions in check. You feel a great sense of loss or uncertainty or confusion, and it's hard for you to separate your feelings from the truth. So if that's the case, you're going to have to really rethink a situation that you're involved in. And the King of Cups says that there's intense desire on your part. Either you're determined to impress someone or improve a situation or preserve your current circumstances or defend yourself. Or if you're on a vendetta, maybe you want to destroy something because you feel that it's your right to do so. So there are strong desires here. And, you may be wondering, can I complete? Can I finish, the course that I've started on? It's wearing on me. And you've never been closer to that finish line, though. So again, there are issues of assistance and somebody acting in your interest, being responsible, receiving some kind of protection, somebody having some concern. And this may take the form of, a father figure, your role as father, a connection to a partner. You may be getting some counseling or some advice. But you're looking for some form of comfort, whether that is emotionally or financially or, through knowledge. You are looking for support. And the King of Cups at his best is giving you that. This is somebody who is emotionally stable. They're very mature and they know how to be a good friend. Some of you, maybe you're struggling in negotiations or you're trying to get in touch with your emotions. You know, you could be very defensive and that's an issue. This is somebody who's willing to take on extra responsibility, and that could be an issue here. Now, negatively, this is somebody who is manipulating. You're trying to protect yourself, perhaps, from somebody who is conning you in some way. Or maybe, you've closed yourself off. You're antisocial, or this is somebody taking advantage. They're parasitic. Or it could be somebody who's, self-indulgent. They're only looking out for themselves, or they're playing with your emotions, or they don't have a handle on their emotions. And their go-to behavior is some form of addiction or escapism. So again, there are issues of being taken care of, being supported, being a friend, taking on responsibility. And maybe you are struggling to discuss how you feel with your partner. The King of Cups is very intuitive. Whether you're saying something or not, he feels it. He's empathic and he's willing to discuss those difficult issues. This could also be somebody, though, who's struggling with dealing with a practical matter. And again, it could take the form of being manipulative or passive aggressive. For some of you, you are buckling under the strain of a situation because you have been alone. You've been trying to do it all. You've had to, fight the war, fight the battle, overcome the challenge. You've had to pick yourself up, and it's wearing on you. You need some support, and you may be making a connection to somebody that you feel deeply for. But in other cases, you're on guard. You're in conflict because you feel you've been manipulated, and your connection is very complex. The support or advice or love you thought you would receive is not there. You find the connection less fulfilling than you had hoped. And this may tie to expressing yourself. Now, maybe you want to have this dialogue when you're alone with this person, or you feel the need to be alone. Maybe one of you or your partner are determined to be alone, and you're expressing that to your partner. Or again, you may feel like you need to be alone rather than deal with somebody. Or you're looking at where you have been alone too much, where you've been struggling. And maybe you have this exchange with another person where they're offering you their love, their advice, their support, because perhaps you've been alone and it hasn't necessarily been by choice. For some of you, this is some creative endeavor that you're very determined to achieve, or you've been struggling with. And maybe you need some downtime to work on your creativity or do what you love or work on your health. Or perhaps you've been holding something back that needs to be said. Now, your romance is characterized by the Chariot and the Five of Coins. So for some of you, there's involvement with a Cancer person. But if not, this is strong emotional energy. You're trying to overcome some kind of challenge, and you're very determined. There's a single-minded purpose. There's a target in mind, and you're doing everything to go after that. Or perhaps your partner is, and you have to make sure that you're not, running over your partner or taking advantage or vice versa in order to achieve a goal. And your emotions are having a strong effect on your partner or vice versa. So you're going to be dealing with some kind of issue centering around communication or travel that ties to something new, something adventurous, something romantic, or something out of the ordinary. And, you may be dealing with some miscommunication or some delays, but this may not, if you felt like it was going to be a problem to make some changes or some alterations, they may not cost you as much as far as your time or your emotions or your money as you had thought. Although the Five of Coins says there's a lack of faith in something. Maybe you're rejecting fighting, or maybe there's a conflict. Maybe you're trying to travel and you don't have enough money, or there's a conflict over money, how resources are used. It's, a possibility that a couple of things have just not gone your way, and maybe you're dealing now with a lack of faith, maybe poverty or illness. It could be that you're dealing with a connection where there's some liability involved. It's going to cost you in some way. Maybe, this is a good love connection, but on some level, financially, it doesn't serve you. You may feel ostracized from your partner, especially if one of you is seeking to have more alone time. You may feel rejected or abandoned. So there are issues, some challenges that you're trying to overcome. And when you have this exchange, or you reassess your values, or where you got to this place, you may realize that you're not as bad off and that it hasn't cost you as much as you thought. So there is some kind of conflict where you're going to have to overcome perhaps a way of thinking, a mental outlook that's very, lack-oriented. And this may tie to moving forward. Now, maybe you're trying to travel somewhere again and you need a gift, you don't have enough money. Or perhaps you're moving on from something, you felt rejected, or your partner did. This person, maybe you thought they were the one, or vice versa, and somebody is rejecting and moving on. Or, you're moving forward, you're overcoming the challenge that had worn away your faith and belief, and you're moving forward. Maybe somebody is helping you. Maybe this is the ideal partner that has all of the traits that you felt you desired in someone. Or you're spending, this is somebody that you could potentially spend your life with, a marriage partner. For some of you, you're going to be able to move forward because you're going to get some kind of gift or recognition or good fortune. And that's going to take you forward because you are focused, again, on meeting some kind of goal. You're very motivated and driven. And in some cases, maybe there's a lack of faith in your plan, or that you can move forward. You need to reorient. There's aimlessness. You don't have a plan. But in other cases, somebody's going to step forward to offer that support, to push you forward. Perhaps that this is your partner or someone that you meet when you're traveling. Because you may be very popular right now. You may have a variety of prospective suitors that take notice of you. Or you may feel left out in the cold because your partner is getting a lot of attention. In which case, there's a need again to either move forward or move on from something. Now, why is this occurring?